In today's video, I want to take you guys through a very interesting article over on the PlayStation blog where a bunch of developers, high-tier developers at that of big games, talk a little bit about PlayStation 5 improvements, specifically SSD, controller, Tempest 3D audio, things of that nature. We'll talk all about that, and PlayStation Now gets a pretty big update with a bunch of notable titles getting added. We'll talk that in just a little bit. Brian Horn, creative director of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, being done by Insomniac, noted this: beyond near instant loading and fast travel, the SSD and its speed allows us to more quickly load and display more detailed assets. This should lead to the city looking better than ever, and this is just the beginning for our team unlocking these possibilities. It's a fundamental change that we can't wait to make more advantage of in the years to come. Now, a lot of you guys are excited for the Demon's Souls remake. Gavin Moore, creative director of Japan Studio, noted, as developers of Demon's Souls, we are already changing the way we think about the SSD. We see it not just as storage, but also memory, utilizing the speed of the SSD to load data at blistering speeds, bring you straight back into the action to avenge your many deaths. Seems like everybody's super high on the SSD, rightfully so. Game director of Hitman 3, Matthias Engstorm, noted, Hitman 3 pushes you to explore and experiment in huge sandbox locations, and being able to save load frequently is the key to that. The blitz fast load times we are seeing on the PlayStation 5 console encourages player experimentation more than ever. Of course, this is going to be a game that's going to be on the PS4 and the PS5, but I would imagine that we're going to see significant differences between the two versions. Neil Hill, lead programmer over at Far Cry 6's studio. The SSD is a game changer. I think as a generation matures, we will see some amazing innovation in streaming and open world game design. Aria Bornson, a lead programmer over at Returnal, a bit further into the next generation, I'm expecting we'll start seeing developers make more use of the not so obvious benefits of the SSD. This is what makes me excited the most. What does it mean for developers when everything can be loaded from the disk that fast? We will see the concept of levels anymore. The possibilities for this tech are exciting for me as a developer and exhilarating for me as a gamer. By the way, Returnal is the game. That is a title being done by the Finnish studio and Housemarque, one of those titles that's a PS5 exclusive, and it's going a little bit under the radar, but I think it looks quite compelling. And it's a big budget title, however, you could definitely see Housemarque traditional elements really shining through in that game. So that's one you guys might not know a lot about, but definitely keep an eye on that. Of course, Marcus Smith, creative director at Insomniac Games, Ratchet & Clank A Rift Apart, noted, hopefully players were able to see the new extended gameplay demo we recently revealed for Ratchet & Clank A Rift Apart. The SSD and custom I/O architecture around it allows us to send players across dimensions with near-instant speeds. It's fundamentally changing the rules and allows us to think about the ideas and game designs that are only possible on PS5. Harry Kruger, a game director for Returnal over at Housemarque 3D Audio, is exciting because it can create more convincing and accurate soundscapes for players and a strong sense of place in the fast-paced action game with lots of verticality like Returnal. It can also help with the player's situational awareness and make it more intuitive for players to pinpoint the locations of nearby enemies or incoming projectiles in the heat of combat. Talking back on Returnal, that's also a game that very much does look like a next-generation title, so I'm super excited for that one. I think it could end up surprising a lot of people. Matthias De Jong over at Gorilla noted, now with the PS5's console Tempest 3D audio tech sound engine, we'll be able to play sounds in such a way that players will be able to locate the machines around them with greater ease, which is great for situations in which you find yourself surrounded or just want to sneak on the machines, of course referring to Horizon the Forbidden West. So leave a link in the description box below. There's a couple of other excerpts that I found rather interesting. Check it out for yourself, and I do think you could figure some stuff out about the PS5. Lastly, I do want to note, PlayStation Now updates. We are getting some big games getting added, including Resident Evil 7, Final Fantasy 15, WWE 2K19, and Observation immediately. Really good that they gave us WWE 2K19 and not WWE 2K20. If you're not aware, 2K20 is an atrocious game. 2K19 is pretty decent, all things considered. I think it's the best wrestling game in quite a while. Hopefully, at some point, AEW can actually deliver a high-quality wrestling game, because I just don't know if these 2K games are ever gonna make it happen, but yeah, 2K19 was pretty decent, so do check that out if you're interested. You can have some fun with that. Observation also being added, Final Fantasy 15 and Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 is fantastic. If you have a PSVR headset, it's really good. Now, unfortunately, this one is only going to be around for a little bit. It'll be available until November 30th of 2020, so you got, what, 3 months to play the game? So do hop on that as soon as possible if you're interested in playing it. Final Fantasy 15, Seems like they have a good working relationship with Square Enix because this one will be available for 6 months until March 1st of 2021. Unfortunately, this is the base game and not the Royal Edition, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but still, I thought FF15 was a pretty good game, and if you go into it not really expecting a Final Fantasy title, I think you could do a little bit more enjoyment out of that game. You can get a little bit more enjoyment out of that game because I did not find the story that good. I know that's a hill that I'm going to die on, but yeah, Final Fantasy 15 still had some great combat, the open world. The graphics were nuts, so yeah, definitely fun to be having. On the PS4 Pro, really, really good looking game. As I mentioned, WWE 2K19, and then Observation as well. That's a cinematic sci-fi thriller told through the lens of a space station's artificial intelligence. Remember playing that, thought that was a rather compelling game. So 4 pretty major titles, all things considered. Obviously, PS Now is not as big of a focus as Game Pass is for Microsoft. However, now with the games being downloadable and games like RE7 being added, FF15, WWE 2K19 Observation, those are notable games that I do think make the service quite a bit more compelling. But that's going to conclude this video. Again, developers speak pretty highly about the PlayStation 5 in particular. The SSD seems to get all the attention these days, but the audio is something that is coming to the forefront as well. And big updates to PS Now, some good games being added, so definitely do check that out if you're interested. Come Black Friday, you should be able to get this pretty cheap as well. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.